My friends, let's talk about presence. Not just the kind of presence that means showing up somewhere physically, but that presence that changes the atmosphere when you walk into a room. You've probably noticed it before someone enters, and without a word, the energy shifts. It's not about height or wealth or the perfection of their jawline. It's about an invisible quality that seems to whisper, I know who I am, and I don't need you to approve of me. True confident presence begins with an inner conversation, long before you ever meet her. It's the quiet understanding that your worth is not determined by whether or not a particular woman likes you. If you enter any interaction already needing her validation, you've given away the very thing that makes you compelling. Confidence isn't about being louder, more dominant, or more flamboyant. In fact, that's often insecurity wearing a costume. Real confidence is measured in how comfortable you are in your own silence. We live in a culture that rewards thequic, the flashy and the performative. But women, on a deeper evolutionary and psychological level, are attuned to something subtler. They notice micro-expressions, tone shifts, and the way your eyes stay calm under pressure. Presence is as much about what you choose not to do as it is about what you do. It's resisting the urge to oversell the psychology of female desire yourself, to prove you're interesting, or to fill every pause with nerve shitter. It's allowing space because space creates intrigue. Think about the difference between someone who sits forward anxiously trying to anticipate every reaction and someone who sits backgrounded with a relaxed openness. One is seeking approval. The other is extending an invitation. When you're grounded in yourself, you radiate the message that your attention is valuable and that psychologically is irresistible. Humans, men and women alike, are led to assign greater value to what feels scarce. If your energy says, I'm here because I choose to be, not because I have to be, you immediately stand out. Confidence is also a relationship with uncertainty. You can't control how someone will respond to you, and that's exactly where the magic lies. Many men are so focused on getting the right reaction that they lose the authenticity that makes them magnetic. The most compelling presence doesn't seek to be universally liked. It seeks to be fully expressed. This means accepting that some people will be indifferent, and some might even reject you. But those who are trick number one, the power of subtle confidence drawn, to you will be drawn deeply. From a psychological standpoint, presence is a blend of self-trust and attunement of moment. Self-trust means you don't second guess every word, every gesture, every glance. You trust your instincts because you've put in the work to know yourself, your values, your strengths, and even your flaws. Attunement means you are not stuck in your own head. You're actually engaged with the world in front of you. You notice the subtle changes in her expression, the way her voice softens or sharpens, and your spin, not with rehearsed lines, but with genuine curiosity. Philosophically, you might say fat presence is the art of being fully here without grasping for the next moment or next outcome. It's a kind of stillness, but not the passive kind, that it's alive, aware, and quietly assertive. You can't fake it for long because presence is rooted in how you see yourself when no one's watching. If you neglect that inner work, every external performance will eventually crack. So, how do you cultivate this presence? You start by paying attention to how you carry yourself in everyday situations, not just when you're trying to impress a meal. Are you hunched over your phone line at the coffee shop, disappearing into the background? Or are you standing tall, breathing fully, making eye contact with the world around you? Every moment is training. The way you walk into a room where no one knows you is the same way you'll walk into a date, a party, or her apartment. And perhaps the most overlooked part of presence is how you make others feel in your company. Women remember less about the exact words you said and more about the steady felt when they were with you. If your energy is calm but engaged, confident without being overbearing. You'll create a safe tension, a space where attraction can grow. That's not manipulation. That's simply the natural effect of a man who is rooted in himself. In the end, confident. Presence isn't a trick. It's not a mask you put on when you want to be noticed. It's the byproduct of a man who has done the work to know who he is, to trust himself, and to meet the world without apology. When you have that, you don't need to chase the obsession. It comes to find you. If confident presence is the quiet force that draws. Herein, body language is the unspoken dialogue that keeps her engaged. We often think of communication as the words we choose. But in truth, the majority of what we convey happens without a single syllable. Our posture, gestures, facial expressions, and even the micro-movements we're barely aware of speak in a language older than words. And women, often without conscious effort, are fluent in that language. When you interact with a woman, your body is broadcasting signals that reveal for more than you intend. You may think you are playing it cool, but if your shoulders are tense, your feet are wrinkled toward the exit, or your eyes dart around nervously, you're communicating uncertainty and disconnection. The human brain is an extraordinary pattern recognition engine. It picks up on these cues instantly. Attraction isn't always the result of a rational checklist. It often begins with a feeling, and that feeling is shaped by the signals you send throughout your body. Body language is not about memorizing a set of gestures to imitate. If you try to copy behaviors you've seen in a YouTube tutorial, you'll come across as stiff or calculated. Instead, it's about aligning your physical presence with the state of mind you want to project. If you are relaxed, attentive and curious, your body will naturally follow suit. If you are tense, needy or distracted, that too will be visible, no matter how much you try to mask it. Consider eye contact. Too little, and you appear evasive. Too much, and you risk coming across as intense or invasive. The balance lies in using your gaze. As trick number 2, speaking the language of body signals way to connect, not to dominate. When you look at someone with genuine interest, your eyes soften. Your facial muscles relax. You are not staring through them. You are seeing them. That feeling of being truly seen is profoundly attractive because it's rare in a world of fragmented attention. To give someone your undivided presence is a gift. Then there's posture. A man hostens or sits with an open, grounded posture communicates that he is both approachable and self-assured. Crossing your arms, hunching forward, or turning your body away creates a physical barrier, subtly telling her you're closed off or defensive. But leaning too far in too soon can communicate neediness. The sweet spot is a relaxed openness paired with an unhurried pace of movement. Think of your posture as an unspoken invitation. I am here, I am comfortable, and you are welcome in my space. Mirroring is another natural yet powerful tool. When done unconsciously, humans have a tendency to subtly match posture, gestures, and even breathing rhythms of people they feel connected to. This is the body's way of saying we are in sync. The mistake is trying to deliberately mimic someone, which can feel artificial and even unsettling. Instead, let mirroring happen naturally by tuning into her energy and rhythm. Your body will follow if you genuinely present with her. And here rests deeper truth. Your body language doesn't just influence her perception. It influences your own state of mind. Psychological research shows that posture and movement can alter hormonal pulses, impacting your feelings of confidence and calm. Standing tall, breathing deeply, moving with purpose. These aren't just signals to others. They are signals to yourself. If you want to feel grounded, start by acting grounded. Your mind will catch up. Philosophically, body language is the asterisk bridge between your inner world and Theater 1. If your inner dialogue is full of self-doubt, your body will betray it. If you are comfortable in your own skin, your gestures will be more fluid, your expressions warmer, your movements slower, and more deliberate. This is why no single trick works. In isolation, the power of body language comes from the authenticity behind it. Watch how this plays out in moments of tension. Imagine Ash challenges something you've said or teases you in a way that tests your composure. Do you stiffen your smile, fading into defensiveness? Or do you lean back slightly, keep your breathing steady, and let a slow smile return to our face? The latter communicates that you are unshaken, that you can hold your ground while still remaining playful. That combination is magnetic because it blends strength with lightness. And there's one more subtle element often overlooked: how you use touch. Touch can be an amplifier of connection, but it is also one of the most misused tools in male-female dynamics. Too soon, too forceful, and it creates discomfort. But at the right moment, perhaps a gentle touch on the arm when making a point, or a guiding hand at the small of the back when walking through a crowd, it can deepen the sense of intimacy. The key is attunement, reading her responses, noticing if she leans in or pulls away, and respecting the unspoken boundaries that make her feel safe. Ultimately, body language is about congruence. When your words, your tone, and your physical cues are aligned, you create a sense of trust and coherence. She doesn't have calendar if your charm is just a performance. She can feel that it's real. That's why body language is not a gimmick, but a reflection of your relationship with yourself. Because, at the end of the day, a woman isn't drawn trick number 3, emotional hooking and deep connection, to the angle of your jaw or the cut of your suit nearly as much as she's drawn to the way you carry the space between you. Speak well with your body, and she will listen with her whole attention. And if you want her to feel safe and not be drawn in, your body must first be a place you feel at home, if presence is what draws her attention. And body language is what keeps her engaged in silent conversation. Then emotional connection is the bridge that takes you from intrigue to true intimacy. Without it, all the charisma in the world will eventually fade into the background. With it, even an imperfect man can become unforgettable. We often imagine attraction as a purely physical or surface-level phenomenon, but the truth is the kind of connection that lingers, the kind that makes a man think about you long after you left lives. In the emotional realm, it is the experience of feeling seen, understood, and valued, not just for what shows the world, but for the parts of herself that are rarely acknowledged. The challenge is that most men confuse emotional connection with excessive disclosure or endless conversation. They think if I just tell her everything about myself, she'll feel close to me. Or if I get her to open up about her past, she'll feel bonded to me. But connection isn't about volume. It's about depth. It's not how much you share, but how present you are when you share. It's not how many questions you ask, but the quality of attention you give to the answers. When a woman feels a real emotional connection, it's often because you've given her a rare gift, the feeling that she doesn't have to perform. In our curated performative culture, most people are always on showing only the best angles, the safest opinions, the most acceptable parts of themselves. But when she is with someone new who creates a space where there's no need for that mask, she relaxes into something far more authentic. And in that authenticity, attraction deepens. Emotional connection begins with curiosity. Not the superficial kind that just collects facts, but a deeper curiosity about what shapes her experiences, what makes her law unexpectedly, what stirs her emotions. Instead of asking standard transactional questions, you are listening for meaning. If she tells you she loves to travel, you don't just ask, "Where have you been?" You ask, "What does travel give you that you can't find here?" That question invites reflection, and reflection invites intimacy. But curiosity alone is not enough. It has to be paired with empathy. And empathy isn't simply saying, "I understand." It's about meeting her where she is emotionally, without trying to fix, correct, or outshine. Her story. If shares something painful, resist the urge to jump in with your own experience here to minimize hers in an attempt to make her feel better. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is simply if that sounds like it meant a lot to you, or I can see why that stayed with you. These acknowledgments tell her that her in her world matters to you. There's also an element of vulnerability in creating emotional connection, but vulnerability isn't a Buddhaverse in your wounds or unloading your burdens. It's about revealing enough of your truth that she feels invited to reveal hers. If you only show strength, she may admire you, but she won't feel close to you. If you show moments of uncertainty or share the lessons you learned from past mistakes, you create a balance. Strength paired with humanity. Philosophically, emotional connection is a kind of reciprocity. It's a dance where each person takes a step forward, then waits for the other to meet them. Push too far, too fast, and it feels invasive. Hold back completely, and it feels distant. The art is in pacing, matching her openness with yours, creating our rhythm that feels natural rather than forced. And here's something most men overlook. Emotional connection is not just built in deep conversations, it's also built in moments of shared trick. #4. Balancing mystery and availability in small inside jokes, in the feeling of being on the same wavelength. Playfulness is not the opposite of depth. It's part of it. Laughter lowers defenses. And once defenses are lowered, connection flows more freely. The couples, you see, who have been together for years and still seem in love. They've mastered not only the art of talking about serious things, but also the art of laughing together about the ridiculous, mundane, and absurd parts of life. What makes emotional connection sabident in attraction is that it moves dynamic from being about the chisado, being about the bond. Many men fear that once you have a bond, the spark will fade. But in reality, it's the opposite. A strong emotional foundation is what keeps attraction alive when novelty inevitably wears off. Without it, things fizzle quickly. With it, attraction transforms into something richer, more enduring, and more magnetic. And here's the paradox. You can fake it. You can fake confidence for a while. You can mimic body language tricks, but you cannot counterfeit a goon emotional attunement. Humans, especially women, are acutely sensitive to authenticity in emotional spaces. If you ask a question because you read somewhere that women like deep talk, which you are not actually listening, she'll feel it instantly. Connection is built not on techniques, but on intention. So what does all of this mean in practice? It means slowing down. It means paying attention, not only to what she's saying, but to how she's saying it. It means being willing to reveal just enough of yourself that she feels safe to reveal herself. And it means understanding that emotional connection isn't a trick to get her obsessed with you. It's a way of being that makes obsession a natural outcome. If presence is what first catches her attention, if body language is the silent dialogue that keeps her engaged, and if emotional connection is the bridge into intimacy, then the finalement. What keeps her coming back? It's the delicate balance between mystery and availability. Attraction doesn't thrive in certainty. It thrives in the tension between knowing and not knowing, between closeness and distance. It's in this space of gentle uncertainty that Desiree breathes. The mistake most men make, especially when they really like a woman, is collapsing that tension too quickly. They rush to make themselves fully available to answer every message instantly, to clear their schedule at the slightest hint of her interest. The intention is good. They want her to feel valued, but in doing so, they unintentionally rob the dynamic of the space that fuels attraction. Availability is important, but too much of it too soon can feel overwhelming, even smothering. On the other hand, mystery isn't about being evasive or playing games. It's not disappearing 4 days without explanation or creating artificial scarcity. True mystery is about having a rich, fulfilling life that exists independently of her. It's about showing her that while you deeply enjoy her company, your sense of purpose, joy, and identity are not solely tied to her presence. This is not detachment. It's self-possession. Philosophically, this balance speaks too of the great paradoxes of love and desire. We long for closeness, but we also long for autonomy. We want to merge, yet we also want to remain. Trick number 5. The art of emotional safety yourselves. If you erase all boundaries in the name of intimacy, desire starts to fade. But when you keep a sense of individuality, your own passions, friendships, and pursuits, you create a dynamic where every meeting is a choice, not an obligation. Women, like men, are drawn to people who live fully. If your life is already vibrant and full of meaning, your presence carries a certain weight. She feels that she's entering a world that exists with or without her, and fate is compelling. It's not about making her choose you. It's about inviting her into a reality that's already in motion. The unspoken message is, I am happy here, and I'd love for you to join me. But I don't need you to complete me. There's also a psychological dimension to this. Humans naturally assign more a value to what feels scarce or unpredictable. This doesn't mean you should buy inconsistent or unreliable. Thus qualities erode trust. But a touch of unpredictability. Surprising her with a new side of yourself, introducing her to something she's never experienced, or simply not being entirely predictable in your routines, keeps the dynamic fresh. Consistency in integrity, unpredictability in expression. That is sweet spot. Mystery also exists in how much you reveal about yourself and when. In the early stages, many may neither overshare in an attempt to fast, track intimacy, or stay completely. Trick number 6. Playfulness and shared joy closed in fear of vulnerability. Both extremes miss the point. The art lies in gradually revealing yourself like a novel that unfolds chapter by chapter. If you hand someone the ending in the first 5 minutes, they have no reason to keep reading. But if each interaction leaves her feeling like there's more to discover, she will keep turning the pages. And let's be clear, mystery doesn't mean withholding affection. You can be warm, attentive, and even vulnerable, while still maintaining a sense of your own center. In fact, the most attractive balance is when she feels your affection is given freely, but not out of obligation or fear of losing her. It comes from a place of choice, and choice is powerful. From a relational perspective, availability is about showing up in a way that makes her feel secure, responding when it matters, supporting her when she needs it, and being present in moments that count. Mystery is about leaving space for her to miss you, for anticipation to build. When those 12 minutes coexist, you create a rhythm that mirrors the natural ebb and flow of attraction. And here's the deeper truth. Trick number 7. Creating long-term desire. Too much mystery without enough availability is unsafe, while too much asterisk. Availability without any mystery feels dull. The magic is in the interplay, cedence between approach and retreat, between the known and the unknown. It's the same dynamic you see in a well-told story or a beautiful piece of music. Tension and release. Again and again, think of the relationships that have lasted for decades, yet still feel alive. They haven't eliminated the unknown. They've learned to nurture it. They keep discovering new sides of each other, not because they are hiding things, but because they are both evolving as individuals. When you are committed to your own growth, you remain in some ways a mystery even to yourself, and that's closing message. Become the man she never forgets. Intoxicating. The goal isn't to make her upset through scarcity. It's to inspire her to remain curious about you. Curiosity is love and desire intertwined. If she feels she knows everything there is to know about you, desire will start to flatten. But if she senses there's always more to discover, not because you are withholding, but because you're relating, a natural pull will keep her leaning in. Attraction at its core is not about possession. It's about discovery. And when you master the art of balancing mystery with availability, you ensure that discovery never ends. Asterisk.